Welcome to my presentation on net neutrality. I am Daryl Radborn, and I have created this presentation for my communications class that I am taking. Today I'm going to speak to you about the very fragile topic of net neutrality. I chose this topic as I am currently in the Canadian Armed Forces as a communication systems technologist, part of the Royal Canadian Corps of Signals. My trade brings me close to the internet every day, as pretty much all signals now ride either on the internet or beside the internet on a closed network. I find this topic very interesting because not only do I deal with the internet at work, it also touches on issues that I find very important, like free speech and equal rights. Everyone should have equal rights and access when it comes to the internet. As soon as you start giving the ability to limit speed or access, you will limit that right of access and speech, which in turn will have an impact on the economy. Our society is moving towards everything being online and digital. This makes access and speed that much more important in my opinion. The topic of net neutrality is currently in the news a lot right now because big telecom companies are trying to push our government to change the laws protecting the internet. The American government just repealed the laws protecting net neutrality, and a surprising number of people don't understand what this means. In writing my research essay, I believe my strengths were my research topic. This is because it was a topic that I was interested in. This made it easy for me to find material, and I am an avid news watcher, so I found that I was fairly up to date on the current situation. If a topic does not interest you, it can become very boring and monotonous, which makes it hard to research and write about. I found that my experience in the military with a course that I just took, called the Intermediate Leadership Program, definitely helped with my format and citations. In the course, I was required to write quite a few essays, and therefore the proper format and citations were fresh in my mind, and that made it easier to put together. My weaknesses would be the flow of the topic. I found it hard to put my thoughts into an order that made up a proper essay for net neutrality. In the end, it came together for me, but I didn't find it easy. One of my biggest faults in my life is grammar, which I am always trying to improve on, so I knew that would be hard for me to get perfect in the essay. I came up with some results in my essay on net neutrality. Fragility, free speech, innovation and economic impacts. I believe net neutrality is fragile because big telecom companies are always petitioning the government to try and repeal the laws protecting the internet. They are doing this to stop piracy and potentially other criminal activity like terrorism and child pornography. I don't believe that the government needs to change laws in order to stop these activities, as they are already tracking these issues and do a good job of keeping everyone safe. The internet has proven that if you stop one site online, another will just replace it, and blocking websites rarely works as a way of stopping criminal activity. Free speech. If the government was to change the laws, it could start to limit access to the internet, which could have a direct correlation to free speech and equal rights. Big telecoms could start limiting what sites you could go to by the amount of money you spend, or even only give access to the full internet for those willing to pay the most money. This would make for a two-tiered internet that is only available for the rich population. If you start limiting access or creating slow and fast internet speeds, it will also limit how you get things done, which will start to impact the economy and have a direct impact on innovation. Big telecoms would not want people visiting companies that are trying to start up and would point traffic away from those types of sites. And I believe this would have a negative impact on the economy and would only provide the big telecom companies with revenue, trying to shut down the little guys. A good quote from my essay. Canadian society currently supports net neutrality and the laws protecting the internet and ensuring free speech. Once you start giving companies abilities in blocking content, they will try and push their limits in what they can block and let people access. The internet was built as a place for innovation and cooperation. It should be a basic human right that everyone has equal access. In conclusion, net neutrality and the laws protecting the internet should stay in place. The Canadian government has said they have no plans in changing those laws, which is great for Canadians. In order to foster free speech and create innovations in society, we need to have an open internet that allows Canadians the ability to access content and learn how to make the world a better place. We are moving towards a digital economy, and innovation will only create development and help the economy, so the Canadian government is smart in not repealing our laws and conceding to the pressures from big business. The big telecoms will always try and push the limits, which will ensure their ability to make money. I am proud that our government is going to stick with our current laws and not follow the pressure of big business that the American government did. In the USA, Burger King has created a commercial to raise awareness on what net neutrality means. They used the Whopper and showed people in the commercial that unless you paid a crazy amount of money, you would have to wait for the burger. People were upset until they found out that it was a commercial, and it definitely made them more aware of what their government has done by repealing the laws in the US. Luckily, we live in Canada, and hopefully, people will stand up and not let the government get pressured by big businesses. Presenting material. I think that presenting your material in a logical manner is very important, especially in a professional work setting. In the signals branch of the Army, we are always required to make presentations on communication plans to our supervisors. I have found in my experience, if you don't make a logical plan and present it properly, they won't follow your plan and will try and do their own thing that may not work. If you want to be listened to in any business or environment, you need to always present your work clear and concisely. Therefore, communication is very important. If you don't communicate, people will not listen to you, and that means you might have a good idea and they won't hear it or even care to hear it. Thank you for your time. I hope you enjoyed my presentation.